Hello students, I am Dr. Madhulika, Faculty, School of Management Studies, Indira Gandhi National Open University. As we all know, communication technology is one of the thirst area and pedagogy in our times. Being extensive studies being made by teachers, researchers and students. Today's presentation throws light on internal and external communication. I feel great pleasure to introduce as a resource person Dr. Subodh Kesarwani, Faculty, School of Management Studies, IGNOU. Dr. Kesarwani specializes in management accounting, finance, statistics. He also takes special interest in the field of study like IT, ERP and e-commerce. In this session, Dr. Subodh is going to cover Application Oriented Course AOM 1, that is Office Organization Management, Unit 8 and 9. Dr. Subodh, I would request you to start with your presentation.
Thank you, Dr. Madhulika. As you know that this is a part of our BCom course and this is an application-oriented course known as Office Organization Management. Into it, there is one block known as Record Maintenance and Mail Services. In this block, we have Unit 8 and Unit 9, that is Internal and External Communications. I am going to talk about what are the types of internal communications, how internal communication is distinguished with external communications, how communication is playing a vital role in building the organization and bridging the gap between the two. Before that, I will throw some light on communications. The only way in this present world is to communicate. The more you communicate, more your database will be strong, more your contacts will be enhanced. If your contacts will be more, your business will be flourished in a big way. If you see the definition of communication, communication is the process by which information, ideas or opinions are exchanged between individuals through a mutually understood language or symbol. It will be encoded, it will be decoded. The motive is to communicate with one person to the other. It is the lifeblood of modern commercial and industrial world. The image, efficiency and success of a modern business depends on the standard of its communication services. If the communication services are more IT enabled, more techno savvy, more technologically sound, the people who are at the other side will get the flavor of communication very fastly. So one has to be very cautious while communicating and try to incorporate certain technologies to have a better shape of communications. In general, communications had been segregated into two parts, that is internal communications and external communications. The communication which will be committed within the organizations, is known as internal communications. Say Indira Gandhi National Open University is one organization. It had certain regional centers. Now if IGNOU is interacting with the regional centers, with the regional directors, this is called as internal communications. Whereas external communications are the communications which will be committed by one organization to other organizations. Like the management department of IGNOU, say School of Management Studies, is interacting with management department of IIT Delhi. So now this one organization is interacting with other organizations, so this is basically known as external communication, where there is no relation between the organizations, they are just interacting to have a communication. So this is basically an external type of communications. In our coming slide we will try to bifurcate and make the picture more clear about internal communications and external communications. before going into the depth of this communications and internal communications and external communications, what is basically a role of communications and how it is playing a vital role, and what rather we can say what is an importance of office communications. If we see the first point, that it's provide informations to management, this is very true. Here I would like to take an example. Say there is one research and development department going somewhere. Generally all the organizations who are in the process of innovations, they used to have their separate research and development department, and in that department there is gamut of people working on working to create some innovative things or some creative work. So if the people have something in their mind, and they have to communicate to the management so that the other people can have a glimpse on that and they can share their view in a better way. So this is basically a major role of communication. What is the importance of communication is to provide informations to the management. Whatever the informations one can extract, that has to be forwarded in such a way that the whole group can have a benefit of that. Sharing of management decisions. This is not means whatever the management decisions supposed to be taken by the top levels, the people who are sitting at the top, say managing directors or the chief executive officers, they has to whatever the information which could be relevant one must be shared in such a way, like from top to bottom type, so the people will know what decisions or what things are going on in the top levels. There must be an effective relationship to have a better communications between the organizations. There must be a healthy relationship between the superiors and the subordinates, between the top levels and the lower levels. The fourth point is proper coordinations. The communication which has to be disseminate must be in a proper way. Say managing director of the organization is not going to interact directly with the clerk who is looking the financial part. That information has to be delivered through certain way. It has to be moved through general manager finance, then regional manager finance, then executive finance, and further go to this to the financial executive. So whatever the information, that has to be coordinated well, and it should be in a proper way.
Dr. Subodh, I have a question in my mind.
Yes.
Is there is a difference between internal and external, or formal, informal communication, or
Yeah,
they are
it's there.
the same?
I am going to talk more about formal communication and informal communications. There is a difference. I think that will make the picture more clear. As far as internal and external communication is concerned, I have given you a very good example of this IGNOU relations with the regional centers and IGNOU relations with the IIT Delhi or Delhi University departments.
Is there a formal or informal? These are the formal or informal?
It could be formal, it could be informal.
Depends on situation.
Yeah, if we will call somebody, say IGNOU is going for certain moderations, if they call some people just to look on the paper and all, so basically it's a formal invitation. Whereas if there could be something, say you have been to Delhi University and you need some help on the certain topics, in that case you have informally meet to the people, so this could be considered as informal relations. So this informal and formal relations will be in the internal will be a part of internal communication, and also will be a part of external communication. So it's again depend how you tackle the things, how you take the thing into consideration. Maintenance of outside contact. This is a very important point, because nowadays how the technology is playing a vital role and making a drastic change in the organization. This database of the customers, of the suppliers, of the people who are associated with the organizations is very important. It's something which could be a hotcake type of. So maintenance of outside contact should be very strong to have a communication. More database you have, more you are communicate to the people. Say let's take an example. There are few industry which is totally based on this database concept, say insurance companies or the credit card companies. those who are or the banks who are giving the credit cards to their employees, they have a contacts. On that basis they used to make the one people can get the credit card, and he or she can give the contacts of 30 people. Now they are going to interact with 30 people, and their database is 31 plus.
So all these are formal, all these are comes in a formal category or informal category?
It will be sometimes, say the telecallers, you say I have got a credit card, say you have got a SBI credit card and I have got ICICI bank credit card, I have given your reference, these people have contact you, so they have got the people who contact you are called the telecallers. So these telecallers have contacted you. Now since they are calling from their office, and the job is basically an official job, so you can say it's a formal interaction or the formal communications. Whereas sometimes what happen, you want to know more about the credit cards, how say SBI is giving the lifetime validity and other card is not giving lifetime validity. Maybe these private credit card banks have some hidden cost also. So just to seek knowledge, you can have an informal talk with them whether I should go for this card or I should go for that. And in that way, since you have informal relationship with them, so he can guide you, no, our banks are not giving this much facility, other banks are giving this much facility. So it's again depend how you take the thing into consideration. Sometimes it could be a formal one, it should be you are going for some formal communication, and in that period something occurs and you automatically talk about the informal one. So it's not necessary you have to make your mind and just to go for formal communication, and you can only go for a formal talk. You can, if you can go for the formal communications, you may have some informal talk also. So this have a very different kind of shape and types, so we can say. So there are, I have given the examples of insurance companies and fast moving consumer goods, the marketing oriented companies who are totally right now depend on this concept of making the database, increasing their contacts, and they have certain softwares like ERP softwares, enterprise resource planning softwares, who are pioneer in this database management, and they used to make a heavy database of the customer suppliers, or we can say if the organization is big, their HR department needs a database to recruit a people every time. They have a rigorous work on this database system to enhance it, to make it strong, so that whenever they have a need of it, they can go into that. So the next point is process of communication. The process of communication is basically a chain. Starts with ideation and ends to action. In ideation, we will create an idea, then we compose the idea, we can put it in a black and white form, we can transmit it to the receivers, and receiver can understand it, and further there is future action. So this is basically a follow-up system. It starts with ideation and action. It is not necessary once you have started with ideation with the step 1 and come to action, you should go back also, you should count down also, like action, understanding, receiving, transmission, composition, ideation. What sometimes the information had been proceeded from top to bottom, and after that the same information with some modification and alteration moves from action to ideation in a follow-up way. So this is basically called as upward communication, and when we talk about ideation to action, this is called as downward communication. So we will talk later and take certain examples and and try to distinguish between upward communications and downward communications. If you see these 6 points, that is ideation, composition, transmission, receiving, understanding and action, the first 3, that is ideation, composition and transmission, is a job of the sender, the person who sent the information, whereas the other last 3, that is receiving, understanding and action, is the responsibility of the receiver. So However, the communication process is not a one-way traffic. This is very true. As I have told, it is not necessary that that's why I have said before explaining the last slide, starts with ideation and ends to action. This is basically a chain. In chain, you should start from anywhere, you should end anywhere. So this is also, so communication is also not a one-way traffic. It is a joint effort. It is an interaction between two people, and the procedure is to transform the information in such a way that person who are communicating with other people must have interaction with them. So a reverse flow of communication may start from the end of the receiver and reach the sender of the original message. In general, we will call it as feedback system or follow-up system. There is also an elements of communication. If you see the slides, we have sender at left side, we have communications in the midpoint, and we have receiver. So whatever the information or the communication is there, that has to move through this way or this way also. So sources and destinations of the elements of communication. Into it we will see what are the sources and destinations of the communications, contents of the communications, language or symbol used in communications. Sometimes we have to encode certain information, and further it could be decode. So this, and for that we have to use certain languages, symbols and all to maintain its identity or to maintain its confidentiality.
Sorry, Dr. Subodh.
Yeah.
Please explain encode and decode.
Say there is one information which has to be communicated to the other people, and that information is confidential one. If the people can say a letter, say a simple English simple type alphabets are written in a one page, if it could be passed on, it should be shared by the other people. For that we should encode the information. It should be converted into certain symbols or languages which is not feasible, or we can say the people are not able to, the layman is not able to understand what is basically, and then it has to be moved to the people where move to the
and it
to
is
the
secret
receivers,
between them,
and move to the receivers, and further receiver decode that and get the information. So there are certain systems
between
and in these type of systems are used in the army, or where there is secret bureaus or intelligence departments to maintain the secrecy and all.
So in this way there is also a two-way process.
Exactly, it's a two-way process. Once the data had been encoded, moved to the receiver, and receiver further decode it, and then whatever he had observed, he had put his observations and put the information back again. So this is basically a follow-up system. So here also they are using certain means, a certain mode to convert the layman language into technical or secret language, and get the motive is to share the information and to deliver the information for whom it has been meant. So the points to be noted regarding communication is communication has two ends, sending and receiving. This is very true. Originates with the sender of message and the destination is receiver. This is fine. Communication is useless unless it is directed to the person who may understand it and take action on it. That's why what you have talked about, this encoding and decoding, because if the simple language is there and it could be understood by the layman, the information could be leaked. For this way, for the information for whom it had been meant has to be converted in such a way and has to be delivered to them only. An important element of communication is the language or symbol used in message. Sometimes we used to convert the language in such a way that, like shorthand languages in traditional conventional we see they used to communicate, they get the information very easily, convert it into different format and deliver it. Selection of the proper channel of communication, that is the route or path to be followed, is important. Whatever the modus operandi, whatever the procedure we are used to opt, this is also very important. Communication loses much of its effectiveness unless it is transmitted speedily and accurately. This is also very true. Whatever the information has to be passed on has to be very speedy one and accurate one also. But we have to keep in mind that this information should not be moved in such a way that it will create a haphazardness. So one has to be very cautious.
It should be clear.
It should be clear also. It should not be so fastly that you should not get what the communication. You should not get the communication. There are two types of communications: oral or written communications, manual or mechanical.
So written is always in the formal way. Written communication
exactly,
is
because
always
once
in the
the
formal
things could
way.
be in a black and white form, so whatever
Exactly.
and this has to be follow certain procedures also, like if you are addressing something to your top boss, that has to be addressed with some connotations and all. So
Right.
the office communication may be classified as internal and external. If you see the definitions of internal communication refer to exchange of information between individuals and departments within the organization. Communication between the head office and branch office situated elsewhere are also termed as internal communication. So you have to be very clear about that. Since there are two departments but they are part of the say there is one head office and there is one branch office. It's immaterial where it could be situated, but the only thing is that they are part of the internal, they are the internal department, so they has to be they will come under the internal communications. Whereas external communications, as I have told, interaction between two departments which have no relation with each other, like IGNOU is going to interact with Delhi University, so this is called as external communications. External communication refer to exchange of information between the organization or office and its external contacts. The external contacts may be customers, suppliers, investors, creditors, other companies, government or financial agencies, trade unions, trade associations, professional and service institutions. So this have much broader view as compared to internal communications. Internal communications are somewhat confined, whereas external communications are much more elaborative. Internal communication take place intra-departmental also, inter-department also. Internal communication, as I have given a very good example, where IGNOU is interacting with the regional center. This is intra-departmental between the executive and staff of the same department, whereas internal department between staff of one department and those of other departments. The classification of internal communications. Internal communications may be classified into different types according to organizational relationships, directions of flow, form of medium of communications, means and methods adopted for transmissions. Generally, different organizations have certain systems for adopting communications. They used to follow certain modus operandi, certain procedures to communicate with each other. Somewhere they used to have a more flavor of technology like email, messengers and all, just because this is again going to save time and money also, as compared to the conventional one where we have phones, mobiles and all. Because I have been to one organization just few years back, and that organization is basically a US based organization. In that now it's basically a culture of email and all, but in the 4 or 5 years back also they have adopted this system like communicating each other with the messengers. They have like Google messengers or this Yahoo messengers and all. So it had many features also. It had many benefits also, saving time also. The say you are busy with the phone also, and you're not able to receive the other phones. In that way, if you, and since you are sitting on the computer and having a screen in front of you, over there the messenger is very fruitful way to interact. Just you have got the message, you have written it. So this is one of the contemporary way to interact
with each other.
Email is also no doubt, but email generally it could not be instant one. You have given the mail and you get the response afterwards. So this process maybe have a second time, or but messenger is something which which take fraction of time to interact with each other. So this is one of the one of the contemporary way to interact. This is one of the model implemented in a few big organizations like Hewlett Packard. Hewlett Packard is basically a company which manufactures computers and printers, and they are pioneer in this field. They have transformed this internal communication systems. If you see the first stage, that is basic communications, where there is direct one-way communications, solid basic tools, limited feedback from employees. They have made a stage. So right now, so what I mean to say, basically this communication is not confined, or it's not a part of one organization, or say rather we can say it's not a copyright of one organization. You should move in this way. You should create your own way. Right now there are some other means also, like this messenger is not a contemporary way. We can create some other way and do that. The motive is to see and communicate in such a way that whatever the communication is there, that has to be rooted in such a way that it should speedily move and accurately move.
And how to interact easily with each other,
yeah,
internal and external.
Exactly, yes, that should be a way. For that you should follow certain models. You should create your own methodologies of making the communications with each other. So this is basically one of the models. If you see the second stage, second stage is aligned communications, where recognize strategic importance of internal communications, established internal communication programs, management office, increase internal communication effectiveness. And third is basically a common procedure, that is two-way communication, where it engaged senior leaders as key communicators, launched centralized websites, regular newsletters and tools enabling managers to communicate more effectively, expanded strategy coverage, employee feedback channels. So in this two-way channels, you should interact with each other. This is very important point, that launching centralized website, because once we talk about external communication, into it there is one very good point, centralization and decentralization. We will, if we get a time, we will have a glimpse on that also.
What is the difference between centralization and decentralization?
Basically,
as a layman, what is the difference?
Look, you know what is basically unity of command. Unity of command is basically one man is there who is basically operating, and there are certain ways to it. So one man is basically operating all those things. So you can say this could be a centralized one, whereas in the decentralized one, the information has been given to, say, like what this BPO culture is having, business process outsourcing organization is doing. They have team leaders and they are in the same line. Generally unity of command means it should be hierarchical one. Say managers is there, executive manager is there, regional manager is there, northern manager is there, then general manager is there. So it follows certain hierarchy. Whereas in decentralized one, we have got 4 or 5 team leaders in the same line, and these team leaders have certain people under him or her, and these people have and these people can interact with them also. So here what you will see, the information is not confined to this unity is this what we can say, this command is not confined to one people. It had been bifurcated in such a way
in different people in different stages,
and that the people who are the team leaders, they can interact. So it's somewhat a freelancer type culture is there, where less free culture is there, where one can have a healthy atmosphere, but somewhere it is good, somewhere not.
and giving their authorities to
Yeah,
their
they have got more
subordinates.
power of attorney to work, and they have got more way to interact with each other. They say the team leader is the group is heading by one team leader, and that group can interact with other groups also. So it's somewhat more informal, and
So
it's
that
a
they
mixture of
can
more
do their
informal and formal. So
job better.
right now, what you see, as I was talking about, this this communication is also changing and playing a very vital role. So this there is also a very drastic change come up in this informal and formal relationships, and informal and formal communications, because what happened, you have to because there is healthy atmosphere and culture is like that, people are because more you interact, more you have a learning type, and this is also true, very true, but somewhere you have to maintain that dignity and maintain that thing, like following this conventional system, because the people say Anil Ambani is there, who is heading this Reliance Dhirubhai Ambani group a day, so he is not going to interact, means he had informal relations in which they have informal meeting, but every time if he is going to pass on the information to someone, to the certain people who are in the bottom level, it has to be routed through proper channel or proper way. So somewhere it is good, somewhere not. You have to see at what level you have to follow this formal communications, and where you have to, in the middle order it is good, because in middle order the people are having a same mindset, so they can have interaction, they can have a good interaction. So in that way, this concept is good, but you have to see where you have to apply this, you have to not.
So you mean that all these are meant for to do a better job
Exactly.
efficiently.
That, because if you see, the only thing constant in this world is change, and time is moving very fast, and there is a cutthroat competition between one organization to other, and customers are in big way. India, say take example of India. India have a very good market in all the areas, and middle class population is very much. They are very cautious. They are very what we can say, enthusiastic to learn more about the things, to have a flavor of different things. So in that way, the competition is coming up. People want quality. They want quality also. They want product.
And they have a choice.
They want choice also. They want a product which could be their cup of tea. Not so that's why the foreign multinationals also coming up with keeping in mind the mind of the Indian people and making the product. In that way, this communication, what I will say, this conventional communication should require a lot of change, so that and if you, that's why I have given a very good model, because this model can facilitate people to see how the communication is changing right now. If you see 2-3 decades back, the conventional communication was somewhat different, but now this communication had changed a lot. So one has to update themselves in such a way, because if you are not going to update yourself, you will be redundant, you will be out from the market, and updation is very important. So the fourth point, which talks about continuous communications, developed communication tools to empower employees to better meet customer needs. Like you have to develop communications, what they exactly want, what the employees want, what type of feeling they have. This is basically a follow-up feedback system, and this can only be done if you have a healthy atmosphere. If you have a autocratic type of leader, the leader is not giving opportunity to followers to put their words in that way. They are not going to contribute their 100%. They will only do what is basic one. So if you want to get their 100%, if you want their 200%, you have to perform and made a communication in such a way that it should be feasible to all. I am not saying you should always implement the conventional, the contemporary approaches. You should try to bridge this contemporary and conventional communication and come up with a model which could be appropriate and suitable to your system. So establish horizontal and vertical communications. I will see how communication between one organization and another organization done, and what are horizontal communications and vertical communications. Say general manager finance is interacting with general manager marketing, so this could be called as horizontal communication, because it is in the same line, same line of hierarchy. Whereas the vertical one is general manager marketing is contacting with the with sales executive. So it could be a superior interacting with the subordinate. So it's a vertical one. Integrated strategy, brand culture, and communications, because generally we used to talk about this informal and formal communication, but time had come we should have to talk about many more things like cultures and all, to have a better feeling about the communications. And finally, accelerating growth. This is one of the major role or a major task of the organization to accelerate the growth, and that can be done only if you have a healthy atmosphere and a combination of the communications. Synchronize with HR, like a few points are there. Integrated into leadership development, designed to strengthen employee engagement and build culture of excellence. Because in the past we don't used to talk about cultures and all, but now this is a very important thing. You have to develop
important part of our life.
We have to develop the culture in because it's become a habit. Say you are working and you do the things repeatedly. You are doing many things every day, and after some time you come to know that it's become a culture that you come to office and do a routine job. So this is, you have to develop the culture, like develop that people should have a sitting of say they have a sitting of 12 hours. So the culture should be like that, they not feel bored. So one has to move in this way. Evaluate against service metrics, accelerating growth through strategic communications. This is one of the strategic communications I was talking about. It could be something which could be suits according to your organization. It could be tailor-made or customized one, which can move according to your organization taste. So types of internal communication will be formal communications, informal communication, and vertical communication and horizontal communication. Formal, I have given a very good example of formal communication and informal communication, and also vertical communication, horizontal one. Vertical communication is from top to bottom or from bottom to top, whereas horizontal communication, it could be in the same line.
12 minutes left.
So informal communication is also known as grapevine, where a gamut of people sit together and discuss something. It could be in a topic, it could be out of the topic, it could be
so
regarding the
grapevine is always informal communication.
No, it could be informal one.
It could be informal
one, because the people from different branches of the organization come together and interact. Generally, if you are having a formal relations, like we have School of Management Studies, we have School of Computer Science, we have some colleagues in School of Computer Science,
Social Sciences.
So once we say we are interacting with them, not formal talk. We have one seminar is arranged, and over there a lot of people. It's a seminar, or rather we can say we have gone for a lunch.
Or get together.
Say academic complex have one canteen, and we have canteen in the in our premises. So once we go to a canteen, we see people are roaming over there, and we used to interact with them. So they have not called us, or they have not given any formal invitation to us, but we have been to them. Just we were in the canteen, we are taking tea, and at the time they were also taking tea. So what basically is done, we are interacting, and over there we used to talk something personal also, and something related to our organization, something about our enhancement, updations and all. So into it, informal, as I had told, in informal communication also you have formal talk, whereas in formal communication you have informal talk. But you are going to informal communications, you are going to incorporate only those things which are formal one, whereas in formal communication there is no question of making the record of anything. I hope I have given a very good example of downward communication and upward communications. If you see, we have forms of internal communications. Even external communication also have these forms: oral communication, written communications. Both are used in the organization to suit particular needs of communication. Another form of internal communication is oral verbal communication. This is basically a combination of both. Sometimes silent language is more eloquent than words and also more economical. If you see the meaning of oral communication, oral or verbal communication is the simplest and most commonly used form of communication. Takes place between person through the use of spoken words, occur through face-to-face conversion or through some mechanical device, is direct and involves personalized interaction. This is one of the advantages. Provide an opportunity for the receiver to respond immediately. Here I would like to take a very good example of our teleconferencing, or the update version is EduSat, education through satellite. This is basically a two-way audio and also two-way video. So this is somewhat called as oral communications, because provides an opportunity for the receiver to respond immediately. He is sitting at one end, I am sitting at this end, and we are interacting. He had some grievances, some queries. He can talk, he can put his questions, and we can give the frame the answers on that basis. So this is basically oral communications.
Or you can say it is a formal communication.
Yeah.
1 minute left.
Means of oral communications is of there are different types of oral communications. Face-to-face communication, where we are interacting with each other. We have other mode like telephones, mobile phones, fixed wireless phones, direct exchange lines, internal external extension lines, EPBX systems, private wireless exchange. Whereas written communications is a communication which will be in a black and white form. The written media is involved into it. Take the form of letter, reports and email. Email is electronic mail, which if you go through the IT Act 2000, into it, email is one of the legalized, is also legalized one, and whatever the communication had been done through email is also called as written communication, and is as important as what we are drafting a letter in a black and white form. So I hope by this, though I am not able to cover the remaining slides, this correspondence and decentralize, centralize, maybe if I would get an opportunity to next time regarding this particular topic, I will try to elaborate and start my discussion from here itself and try to wind up this communication part. But I hope regarding this as far as communication is concerned, this had made the picture more clear and given the learners to about about making a difference between internal and external communications. And whatever the practical examples, whatever the models I had explained, I hope this had given a new way to communication, to interact, and making a new culture in the organization to fruitfully done the communications. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Dr. Sahab.
Thank you.
Thank you.